Second story. My family expects me to pay for my birthday dinner. Yesterday, I turned 18 years old. For the past 6 years, like clockwork, every year on my birthday, my family and I would go to the same restaurant, and I would always order the same meal. For anyone who's confused, I have extreme OCD and high-functioning autism. This means I like things to stay the same way they've always been, and I'm very well regulated because of it. Now, back to the story. Every year on my birthday, we would go to Applebee's. My go-to order would always be the steak and shrimp parmesan, with a side of loaded mashed potatoes and cheesy steamed broccoli. To top it off, I'd add a side of mozzarella sticks. Yes, I know it's a bit much, but it's my birthday, right? Altogether, the meal costs around $30, which I admit is kind of expensive. This year, I didn't notice anything unusual at first. My mom, stepdad, and older brother joined me for the dinner, just like always. We sat down, but there was a strange quietness in the air. Normally, they'd be talking or at least wishing me a happy birthday, but this time there was nothing. I started tapping my fingers together, which is something I do when I get nervous or anxious. Then, my mom broke the silence. She said, well, I didn't know what she meant. I responded with, well, what? Then she said, aren't you going to call the waiter over? That's when the anxiety really started kicking in. I have major anxiety issues when it comes to talking to people, especially strangers like waiters. I tend to stutter and feel really scared. So, I asked if she could do it, and she sighed, clearly annoyed, before finally calling the waiter over. My stepdad and brother were just sitting there, looking indifferent. As the waiter arrived and began taking orders, my mom stopped him and said, separate bill, and that's when my heart started racing. I don't have a job, and the little money I do have comes from helping neighbors rake leaves. I was completely frozen. I couldn't say anything, and my stomach twisted into knots from the stress. My mom explained that since I'm now 18, I should be responsible for paying for my own things. The situation had already made me feel sick, so I just said, I don't have the money. My mom sighed again, annoyed, and waved the waiter off. The whole mood at the dinner changed after that. It was awkward and tense. My mom ended up paying for my 23-year-old brother's meal, but not mine. On the ride home, my family kept calling me an entitled little a-hole. When we got home, I ran straight to my room and cried. Since then, they've been ignoring me completely. I know I'm bad at picking up on social cues, but my family has never acted like this before. I mean, never. I'm angry and upset, but also really confused. If they had given me a heads up about paying, I would have saved the money I earned from raking leaves. I just don't understand why they treated me like this on my birthday. I also don't mean this to be a validation post. I have all the information you have. I'm just very confused and terrible with social cues. Asperger's, am I right? My family gets a little tight on money. I guess I really should have asked before I assumed they were going to pay it for me. But I missed out on my birthday dinner because I wasn't mature enough to bring my own money. I'm just going to rake leaves for a couple weeks to order it from takeout. I understand why my parents were horrible. But I can't claim I didn't do anything wrong when there was nothing wrong beforehand. I've cried about it and tried speaking with them, but they don't want to talk to me. I don't know what I did. Also, I'm high-functioning autistic. It's a bit difficult to pick up on social cues, and besides the anxiety, I'm fine. I'm going to sit down with my parents tomorrow and talk things over. This post kind of painted them as monsters, but I was a very tough kid. Everyone's saying to leave and call the state, etc. A psychologist deemed me perfectly capable of being independent if I could work on my anxiety. My parents have been loving, but I could be a troublemaker sometimes. First update. I was able to sit down with my mom this morning. At first I was rather angry with them, but she would try to explain her side or events. She told me that in order for me to be more independent, I had to learn that people didn't always get what they wanted. Even if it's on our birthday, Christmas, or any holiday. I asked her why they didn't just sit down and talk with me. She said it wouldn't be as effective. She went into a whole lecture about how I've been leeching off of them for the past few months and that I need to learn how to be a proper adult. When I asked her if we were going to go back to Applebee's so we could do a birthday dinner makeover since I learned my lesson, she got angry. For everyone wondering if I got any gifts for my birthday. From my family, no, the dinner is usually the treat. Am I missing the point of this lesson? I understand that we don't always get what we want. I feel like my mom is manipulating me. I tried asking my brother about it, and all he said was talk to mom. Sorry, this isn't a climactic update. I'm sorry that it's not a happy ending. But this is all the information I have. I love my family so much. I do, but I feel like they're lying to me about stuff. I think they want me to leave the house. If that's the case, I'm going to talk to my caseworker at school who's in charge of my IEP. Second update. I am still at my family's house. For more information, my mom has been receiving Social Security for me since I was 8. It was about $800 to $900 a month. This money helped pay rent, get food for the house, etc. My mom tried convincing me to allow her to be my guardian. When I refused to sign anything, I had an evaluation done, which included an IQ test and some basic questions. The whole time my mother would try to lie, saying I couldn't take care of myself, to the point when the psychiatrist got mad at her and sent her out. I think my mom may have Munchausen syndrome. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to diagnose her. My stepdad is not an asshole and is actually way nicer to me than my mom. In fact, my stepdad tried putting aside cash for me for when I came of age, but my mom wouldn't let him. My half-brother is a lot like my mother personality-wise. Always takes her side on everything, never went to college, and doesn't have a job. For my mother's context, this doesn't excuse her actions, she has bipolar disorder. However, she blames her disorder for everything. She will say the rudest thing to you and cut you down to your core. Then the next day, pretend everything is fine and never talk about it. If you try to bring it up, she says I was having an episode. I understand I have a disability. But it's a disability that I can live with. I've been going to therapy for anxiety and have been doing a lot better than I used to be. I don't know what my future holds. I'm trying to look for a job and places to stay at the moment. When I'm able to leave, I'm cutting my mom out of my life. My stepdad I'll stay in contact with, my stepbrother maybe if he can escape my mom's influence. I've been severely manipulated and emotionally abused. I see that now reflecting on everything. To think, this all started with a birthday dinner I couldn't have. I'm thinking about contacting my biological dad's family. He left when I was younger, and I haven't had contact with his family since. My mom always told me they didn't want to see me, but then again, that could have been a lie too. Third update. So my mom found the Reddit posts. I don't know how or when. But I think my brother had something to do with it. She went on a huge temper tantrum, throwing things across the room and calling me the R-slur. For making her look bad, and how almost all of it was lies. I asked her to explain how any of it was a lie, and she completely dodged the question. I remember just crying and asking her why she refused to buy me my birthday dinner on my 18th birthday. She wouldn't answer me. It was only $30, guys. I know it sounds expensive, but it wasn't that much considering I never asked for anything on my birthday. She continued to call me a liar and has since told me that I'm being evicted. I have been served papers, but I was planning on leaving anyway. She's been crying and ignoring me. Now I am seriously confused and doubting myself. At first I thought I had gotten everything, I had all the information. But am I missing something? Everyone's been telling me no on here, which has risen my confidence. But this was a total shattering moment. I feel like an idiot and I feel terrible, but she called me a leech. I can't tell if I'm being manipulated or not. I can't tell if this is just another lie. I feel like I'm going batshit crazy staying here. I didn't mean to get everyone entangled in all of this, and I didn't mean for this to go insanely viral. I didn't give out her name, I gave out my nickname that I've been called. Maybe a few of her friends recognized the post and me. I can't really tell. I still plan to reach out to my dad. My stepdad hasn't really said anything and just sat on the couch nonchalantly while my mother was on her tyrannical speech about how I was Satan's spawn. Final update. Well, I couldn't get in contact with my dad. I messaged him on Facebook and tried getting a hold of his friends. None responded. Currently I am couch surfing with a friend. I would have stayed at my house for a bit longer, but my mom and my brother had a fight with me, and they got physical with me. So I began feeling unsafe in that environment. I didn't take much with me but a bag full of clothes and the documents I could get a hold of. I've blocked my mom and my brother on all forms of social media. The friend's dad I'm staying with said I could stay as long as I like, but I feel like I'm overstaying my welcome.